You girls want to see something that's really ridiculous and awesome?
It's my new dress!
We forever are. We are magic, magic, magic.
And now for something even more ridiculous and awesome. So welcome to another installment of what I refer to as KEGMTL. Laura called it KEGMTL, but that's too many letters to say out. So I like to say it phonetically and call it KEGMTL. And I really want to get to the myth of Hercules or Heracles, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Because I know, Laura, you really like the Disney movie Hercules, and I really can't wait to point out to you how much of that is completely and utterly wrong. But I want to get there, and I want to bridge the gap between my Perseus story and my Hercules story by basically talking about how much of a man-whore Zeus was. So I'm going to stick on Zeus in Mortals because that's when he gets his most, crazy and insane. So first I have Semele. So Semele was a mortal lady and was yet another one that Zeus saw from Olympus and fell absolutely madly in love with. He got her pregnant and he was so madly in love with her. He was like, I will do anything, ask me anything and I will do it. And he swore by the river Styx. And the river Styx, S-T-Y-X, just like the band. Well, actually, I will say the band is like the river because clearly the river came first. So he swore on the river Styx, which is one of the rivers that flows in the underworld. And if you swear by the river Styx, it is like an unbreakable vow in Harry Potter. It's something you absolutely cannot break, not even for a god. And so he swore in the river Styx, ask me anything, and I will do it for you, tell you, whatever. And so she was like, you know what I want, Zeus? I want you to show me your full godly form, which, humans, mortals aren't allowed to look on gods because if you look at them, their true divine presence, you completely burn up and die. And so Zeus, having sworn in the river Styx, had to show himself to her and she burned up and she died. But she was pregnant. She was pregnant when she made this statement and Zeus knew she was pregnant. He was really freaked out. He somehow got the unborn child from her womb and he put the unborn child into his thigh. And he put it in there to hide it from Hera because I guess Hera's not going to be like, what the hell is that lump in your leg, bro? And I can say bro because Zeus and Hera were brother and sister in addition to being husband and wife. Gross. So what the hell is that lump in your leg? But she never asked. Maybe he had like a tunic or I guess his godly toga or some kind of billowing cloth he was wearing. Who knows what the gods wore. When Dionysus came to term, he was born out of Zeus's thigh. And the god Dionysus, or in Roman Bacchus, Dionysus or Bacchus, is the god of the vine, the god of grapes and wine and things like that, was born. The next one we have is someone called Alcmene. Alcmene. Edith refers to her as Alcmena. Sarah Pomeroy calls her Alcmene. So I don't really know. I'm confused. I'm going to call her Alcmene because I like the way that sounds better. She is the mother of Hercules, or Heracles. I'm just going to call him Hercules. And Zeus did something really clever here, which I think he should have done more of as opposed to appearing to people as animals. He appeared to Alcmene as in the form of her husband who was off fighting wars because he was a brilliant general. He appeared to her in his form and, they got together, they got down like a husband and wife does, even though Alcmene wasn't really doing it with her husband. She was doing it with Zeus who looked like her husband. That's totally messed up. So the next one we have is Io. Io. So Io was just another one of these hot mortal ladies that Zeus saw down from Olympus and was like, yeah, I want some of that, or fell in love with her, or whatever he wanted. So he saw her, but he wanted to, as always, hide his philandering from Hera. He cloaked either the whole world or maybe just their general vicinity in these really dark clouds. So Hera couldn't see what was going on in this general area from Olympus. She causes the clouds to go away, and Zeus is like, shit, what do I do? She's coming. And so he turns Io into a brilliant white heifer. He turns her into a cow. And so Hera's like, what you doing, Zeus? And Zeus is like, nothing. Jeez, Hera, I'm just hanging out with my cow. And Hera decides to continue torturing Io. So she sends, what is it? A gad-fly. I don't know what a gad-fly is, but it says Hera sends a gad-fly to plague Io. and it stung her to madness. And so this gadfly chased Io all over the world. So at some point she makes her way down to Egypt, and she's by the Nile. Zeus comes to her and is like, hello, and turns her back into a lady. They get down again, and Io has a son, Epiphus. Hold on, let me write this down. Epiphus? Epaphus? Epiphus. Let's call him Epiphus. They have a son, Epiphus. So another story is Europa. So as Zeus was watching all these maidens frolicking in the meadow, Aphrodite was there like, look at that, look at him, just spying. And so she got her son Cupid to shoot Zeus in the heart with one of his arrows. Zeus, having been shot in the heart, or whatever the god's equivalent of a heart was, by one of Cupid's arrows, sees Europa, who is the prettiest of all the pretty maidens in the meadow, and he wants to go down and, you know, get with that, but he's still cautious. So he decides to appear to Europa as a bull. This passage is wonderful. Then he lay down before her feet and seemed to show her his broad back, and she cried to the others to come with her to mount him. So Europa sees this gorgeous bull and is like, I want to ride it. I'm not even going to make the joke. I'll let you make the joke. So Europa sits down on the bull's back. The other maidens wanted to come get on that too, but only Europa got to ride Zeus in bull form. Yeah, they went to Crete, which is the island off the coast of Greece, and that's where they got down. I think what takes the cake is the story of Leda. And Leda is famous as being Leda's the mother of Helen. Helen as in Helen of Troy. Well, originally Helen of Sparta. Like many of his mortal women, Zeus probably saw, you know, hot-ass Leda, queen of Sparta, and was like, I'm gonna get with that. And I don't think it was exactly consensual with Leda. Maybe she really liked Tyndareus or whatever, but he decided to come to Leda in the form of a swan and essentially, I think, force himself on her in swan form. He's a swan taking advantage of a mortal lady. It is said that, so she got pregnant from that, and it is said that instead of having a baby, she laid an egg. It's possible that Helen, Clytemnestra, or Castor and Pollux were hatched from that egg. So that's all KEGMTL today. I love you guys a lot, and I will talk to you soon.